Yeah.
Yeah, your studio is lovely.
Oh,
very cozy.
Thank
yeah.
you. So tell me your name and what you do for a living.
It's an interesting question. Not so much the name. I'm Jen. And right now, I do a few things. I think ultimately, I really want to help people, which kind of really crosses many spans. So I do some holistic individual coaching. I do some group work, which I'm really passionate about. I also am a carpenter's assistant, helping my partner grow her business, which is really exciting.
Awesome.
And so I'm dabbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too wed.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So tell me what you're passionate about.
Oh man. Well, sometimes you could say, well, what kind of books you have on your bookshelf, what kind of music do you listen to, like when do you feel most alive? And so I'd say I love to be outside. I think nature's healing and it's really, really important. And fundamentally, I believe as human beings, we've forgotten who we are. And that we have so many resources within us. So you'll find a lot of embodiment books or spiritual books or philosophy books, religion books on my bookshelf. You'll find me in nature, connecting to other living things. And in terms of music, it's generally like a reggae ska vibe, but I'm generally consuming in all categories things that are going to uplift me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So with the 3-prong fork, if you're going to tell me some things that have shaped who you are today to start.
Yeah, I say fundamentally, I think I'm 48 years old. Without going into a lot of detail, I just say my upbringing was challenging. And one of the first things that really took me to different places was losing my sister. So that was 1997.
Wow.
I was a senior in college and she was 3 years younger. And I thought I'd be able to spend the rest of my life with my sister.
Sure.
Right? It's also the same time I discovered mountain biking, which has been a passion of mine ever since and an outlet. But I'd say that was really one of the most transformational experiences. And at that time, you experience that loss, you experience that grief, and it could send you in a million different directions.
Sure.
I was really blessed that it sent me into a few directions of maybe overachieving in health and fitness. I got really fit, I got really lean. There's no class that I can get an A in. So I put all of my energy into outlets that you could say are acceptable. I mean, it put me on a certain trajectory, and that trajectory wasn't necessarily wrong. I did a lot of change management, a lot of different professional roles. You could say change manager, program manager, improvement person, etc. And it gave me a lot of opportunities. And I was able to create kind of a stable foundation from at least a financial perspective. Yet it also felt hollow.
In what ways?
It's corporate. It's organizational. Human beings are kind of be annoying, right? And get so swept up and busy. And our society thrives on kind of these things like, grow up and go to school and maybe find a partner, maybe have children, right? Get a career, advance, put a lot of money in your bank account, a lot. But none of that is necessarily fulfilling. It can be distracting in terms of the life you want to live. So one of my first awakenings was Mandy dying and, put energy in motion. I'd say my next awakening was being like 38 years old and checking all the different boxes that you can check, and life was good. Focused on my sleep, focused on quality eating, exercising regularly, meditation practice, etc. Yet I can't get out of bed in the morning. And I felt just felt really overwhelmed with like being this cog in a really ginormous, industrial machine, so to speak, and wasn't happy. So I knew I needed to do something different, and I knew I needed to abruptly change my life. And then I started taking steps to do that.
What were your steps?
I remember contemplating, like, okay, I have this career, I have this steady income. It's not that it's bad, but it's not for me. And it was like, well, how long, could I quit my job tomorrow, and how long could I last? And that was more of an analytical exercise to like give me some confidence. But that's just pen and paper, certainly helpful. But I felt a deep calling. Like something had to shift, it had to shift. Like it had to shift immediately. So I remember I started asking for help in a really vulnerable and authentic way, and having conversations where it's like, I don't know if I like my life. Right? Conversations where the other person doesn't have the answer, but you start to reveal yourself. And I learned through those conversations that I wasn't alone. And I also knew that I had to make a decision and kind of move forward. So I remember having a conversation with my boss, and it was like, I'm going to go back to school full time. It's not going to be for business. I want to study coaching. I feel called to do this. Don't try to sell me any other things. Don't try to convince me otherwise. It may fit or it may not fit with me continuing in this role. It might mean I need to go part-time. It might mean I need to leave.
Sure.
And so going into that conversation was pretty big, because I was like, I might leave this conversation and actually resign.
Yeah.
But that's not how it happened. I actually went into that conversation, and he embraced it, and he wanted to help. It was unexpected area of help. So he's like, okay, well, we'll figure this out and we'll make it work. And the paradox of that, going in and being kind of surrendered to what might happen, is work ended up helping me with my master's in integrative health for coaching. I started doing courageous leadership workshops in the organization, got into a lot of trouble, which was also fun because I was pushing the envelope. But I was talking about things that really mattered to me. And I was inviting others into that space, and it was being really well received. And 3 years went by, right? I'm still there, still in my studies, and new management came in, and I was laid off. Which was the right timing. Here's 3 years of being in transition. How fortunate was I to still kind of work there, have them help me do some things that I really cared about. Maybe I was operating too far outside of my job and role description, but it was the right time for me. Else I might have stayed, and because it was comfortable and because it was safe. And so I was laid off on July 21st, 2023. I'd been working on my master's. I finished the following week.
Wow.
I finished some other training the following week, and that kind of kicked me right into where I am
Universe
now.
punted you back into the world. Wow. That's amazing. So where is it that you sit now in this three-pronged fork?
It's interesting. I'm a reflector. I always spend time kind of looking at past, future, and grounding, and know like what's calling for me right now. And I'd say the past year has been one, feeling things that go all the way back to my sister.
That's pretty powerful.
I was at Brandy Carlisle at Red Rocks. This bucket list trip in September of last year. I've never cried more.
Wow.
She was there.
Oh, getting chills all over my body.
I mean, I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. I was like July, August, September. I went cross country. I did all these amazing things I've always wanted to do. I was having panic attacks. Never had panic attacks before. I have a fear of falling and fear of heights, but I was atop these mountains, and I lost my stuff.
Wow.
Bridget didn't know what to do. And a little voice just said, keep walking. Just one step at a time. And so without all the busyness, without all the commitments, I had all of this opportunity for things to come up, and it was needed. Fast forward, I just did another cross-country tour, and I come back and it's like, okay, consistency is really important. How do I start to offer opportunities for others to join me in the practice? So I'm doing that in a variety of ways, and what also is speaking to me is how important collaboration is. Like back to asking for help, right?
Sure.
Asking for help and just being surprised by what emerges when you're with other people who share your energy wavelength. And so I gravitate towards women, including you. You're on that trajectory, but every conversation I'm having is leading me to another place, another step. So it's one small step, like me being on that mountain at a time. And it's this kind of openness to really watch the energy. Like, I really wanted to coach. Like, I went to school and really wanted to do coaching, yet I'm finding the energy and the reception is more around this group work. So combining passions with mountain biking and kind of somatics and embodiment, that's just starting, and amazing women and just amazing energy, and you can feel it in your body and you can apply it. So I'm gravitating, I'm getting pulled in the group work, and I'm still doing a little bit of individual, but I'm also watching my partner grow in amazing ways, and part of my energy is wanting to give to her too.
Sure.
I want to help others grow. So
that's awesome.
So I'm still open.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just hold loosely and just take small steps and take more small steps and trust.